froze. Abby wasn't here. I called her. Anyway, it stuck for 3 hours. Like I said, sit here. I couldn't do anything on the computer, but it's still streaming. Then all of a sudden, poof, it's working.
Well, that's fantastic. Felix, woo! Woo's
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Felix. Do you know these two jokers, Felix?
Yeah, I met Ryan already, but not DJ.
Hey.
We're friends on Facebook, though.
Yeah.
Got it. DJ, see, you need to join the club. All the cool guys are shaving their heads, DJ.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So Felix, DJ communicates with eye gaze, and he'll be chatting in the chat. So keep your eye on that.
Yep.
And try to
next week
stifle your laughter. It's going to be, cracking jokes. Okay, what are we even talking about tonight, guys?
You.
What?
Yeah, you're supposed to tell us.
What? We agreed. Oh no, we're not doing the Kermit the Frog duet, are we? Not.
Fine. You got enough here. We could do a good Kokomo.
Okay, here we go. Quality of life, mental health, physical health, relationships, jobs, something to do, technology to assist in goals. Boom. All right, Felix. I will start streaming in a second, but just a heads up, Felix, we would love for people to be interactive. You know, if you have anything to say or contribute, feel free to raise your hand and I can bring you on and you can become famous. You can get your 15 minutes like us. Okay, let's see. Did we figure out how I share? Oh, it's under more, live on Facebook. And
you can even go to participants and share the direct link to the Zoom.
You
go to invite, copy invitation.
Are you talking to me, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you want to just put this, go to invite the participants and copy invitation. You can put the direct link in here just somewhere. Get these stragglers that didn't register.
Oh, that's a good idea. Guys, we're live. Hello.
Yay.
We are here. Let me try to go back to Zoom. Got it. All right, we are live streaming. And let's spotlight you and you. Not so interesting, but I'll talk for a little bit. Okay, cool. Hey guys, it's Thursday and we are here for the Duchenne Life. I'm so excited. I loved chatting with you guys last week, man. That was fantastic. You know, we tackled the future and you know, with Duchenne, it's just this big unknown. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it, DJ? And the future can just feel so heavy, but I hope for those of you who watched last week, y'all saw that it could really turn around. We do want to kind of talk about some more of those details about a good quality of life for the adult with Duchenne. And we'd love to do more interactive. If anybody is there and wants to jump on and ask a question or chat with us, you are more than welcome to. Ryan gave me some fancy directions about what to do here to plop the invite. And so I might be able to do that on Facebook soon. Yeah, so just a heads up, a reminder for anybody who's new, DJ is using eye gaze technology to communicate. So he'll be chatting in the chat a lot. If we can keep that kind of quiet so that we don't miss anything DJ has to say, that would be fantastic. And I tell you what, I'm going to stop talking for a sec. I'm going to let Ryan introduce himself. And DJ, if you want to put something in the chat, then we'll tackle you next.
All right, as usual, we will save the best for last, which is Sir DJ over there. And Lindy, I do believe that we have a link to his fund, for his van fund. Yeah, so just there's a way, Lindy will tell us later, I believe, to donate to DJ's van fund. I also have something I'm working on, but let's get DJ's, let's get him taken care of first.
That's awesome.
Because if you would, I'm actually putting a thing on my people real quick. Okay, so my name is Ryan Russell, as you know. I'm another one of these old guys at Duchenne. I have a PhD in psychology. I live about as alone as somebody with Duchenne can. I live in my own home, and I have a caregiver that lives here. My parents recently passed away last year. So I kind of see different sides of things. I stream on Twitch. I do life coaching. I write a book. I like Star Wars. You can see a few things behind me. And my biggest thing is I like to help people and learn about people. So I'm happy to be here and offer advice or I'll answer any question. I think DJ's the same.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. DJ saying hello to Facebook. And also, DJ says, for those of you guys who are watching Facebook Live and y'all can't see the chat, I'm just going to read DJ stuff for you guys. He says, hey, my name is DJ. I'm 41 with Duchenne, and I live in West Virginia. I live at home with my parents, and I enjoy meeting new people, especially those with Duchenne. So that's cool. I love it. I love this crazy world with all this technology now where people can meet each other and connect and realize, hey, I'm not so alone as I thought. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
DJ and I were a couple of small town boys that we're about the only people in Duchenne around us. So technology is pretty great. We can connect now.
It is. It's amazing. So guys, let's start off talking about a good quality of life as an adult with Duchenne, because, as a parent, listening to all the medical community, there just seems to be a lot of doom and gloom. But the more I've met some of you guys, some of you adults with Duchenne, the more I realize, no, don't have to be that way at all. Not at all. Even despite some of these physical challenges, man, I mean, you can really rock it. You can really have an amazing life. So I'd love to pick y'all's brains about what y'all think have made y'all's lives so fulfilling. So
while DJ's typing his, I say the two things I say probably every time we're on here is hope and purpose. You got to have hope that there's a future ahead. And it doesn't necessarily mean a hope for a cure, a hope for healing, a hope for whatever. I always say there's all types of cures. And it's not really a cure for muscular dystrophy. Maybe it's a cure for social work. Just getting out there, finding your purpose. Sometimes finding your purpose is hard. And especially with Duchenne, we think of, like they say in school, hey, make a plan. You have 5-year plans. Well, Duchenne, you got your 5-year plan, but then you're just going to get knocked around a little bit. You've got to learn to be flexible, and that is something that's hard to do. But we may not have the exact life you pictured when you were young, but you know what? We could have a great life. So many people focus on the life expectancy, but now I've had so many people I went to school with in high school. I'm almost 40. That I've seen guys that, in school they were healthy, they passed away with cancer or other unforeseen events. And they don't know when they're going to end. And we don't know when we're going to end. So I think the best way to just live life to the fullest every day and that doesn't mean go do crazy stuff. It just means do what you want to do.
And Ryan, I love that because you mentioned that last week and it really struck me and I really thought about it. There may not be a cure for Duchenne in your lifetime, but there's a cure for all of these other things. And, at the root of it, I would imagine that, quite possibly mental health is the most fundamental thing to a good life and feeling happy and feeling fulfilled. And I love how you phrase that, a cure for, sadness or mental health or, those things are accessible to us now. And your goal and purpose, that's just phenomenal. It's kind of like you studied psychology or something. I don't know.
Something. I just kind of slept through the class. I actually stay awake for those classes.
All right. DJ said, I would just say that having a joy for life goes a long way with living as much of a purposeful life despite Duchenne. I have never really allowed the uncertainty to have much of an effect on my joy for life. And God, man, isn't that the truth? You've written a few articles for us, DJ, and I've just noticed that recurring theme. And I'm like, wow, that's just so amazing. That's just incredible.
Oh, that's cool, Felix.
I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, how you achieve that joy. Does the physical limitations really affect it that much?
Well, first, gotta say something to Felix. Says he's in those psychology classes right now. You know what the best thing is, Felix? Felix, in the long run, you save money because you don't have to go to somebody to tell you you're nuts. You can say you're nuts. Just tell yourself you're nuts, and now you saved a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm in a IO psychology PhD program right now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I mentioned that before.
No, I didn't know it. Wow. Nice.
So following your footsteps.
Good. I spent 5 years trying to find an all online program that I could do. And I finally found one. So, things are progressing a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think maybe that could kind of tie in. We're living at a great time right now that, I think the important thing is to find the positive in everything. Every cloud has a silver lining. We can look at COVID, which is terrible. I've had COVID did some bad stuff in my personal life with family, but the great thing is it's made Zoom a regular thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a normal thing that it's been great for us in that way. So I think that's one of the things is we always find a positive. And I also kind of forgot everything Lindy asked, so I'm trying to talk until I figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting.
You just gotta have a good sense of humor. And you gotta recognize that, we're all gonna use that stand-up comedian joke, but still, none of us are gonna be able to be a stand-up comedian. You can be a comedian, but you just can't do the stand-up part. So I think that's what you have to realize. We have to sit in a wheelchair. I always tell people, you look at evolution. People went from walking on 4 legs to 2 legs. We're just super evolved because we don't need any legs now to get around. We're just more evolved.
Yep.
That's fantastic, right?
Great way of thinking of things.
Yeah, so see, just remember we're on a higher plane of existence than everybody else. Sorry, Lindy.
See, perspective, right? Finding the silver lining. I love it.
I think that answered Lindy's question.
In a roundabout way.
I'm not as funny as DJ, but I try.
I know you try awful hard, Ryan. We appreciate that about you. Now, do you feel like you had to modify any of the things that brought you joy with physical limitations that are associated with Duchenne?
Well, one thing about it, you can't be stuck in your old hobbies, in your old ways. You got to constantly be finding new things. I like I'm actually weird. I like working in the yard, pulling like weeding, doing weed stuff. That not the like weed, like the ones that grow on the ground, not the other kind of weed. Um, or like woodwork. Those are things I like to do. Well, I can't really do those now, but there's always other things we can find to do. So I think that's one thing is it's good to try new things so we can discover something else that we like. Because if we don't try new things and we keep trying to say, okay, I want to just keep doing those weeds, we're just going to get frustrated because I can't go outside and do yard work or I can't do this. So, constantly looking. And I see DJ talking about his family. Family is what helps, helps a lot. But it depends on your situation. Ultimately, it depends on you. But that's how Lindy, we let you read what DJ said.
Okay, fantastic. I will do that. So DJ said, my joy for life was instilled in me by my wonderful family. Man, DJ, I love your family. Golly. The physical limitations do affect that joy to an extent, but we all find our way to adjust to that. I have found that experiences provide me with the most enjoyment. Stuff doesn't mean much to me like it may to others. That's a cool insight. That's cool. So what I'm hearing you guys say is there's an overwhelming theme of flexibility and adaptability that y'all gotta kind of go with, huh?
Yeah, and it would be tempting to say, at least we don't have to worry about spending a bunch of money on motorcycles or cars or okay, I spend a lot of computer stuff. But then we do have super expensive wheelchairs. So I guess we still spend about as much money as everybody else. Our motorcycles just a little more functional, and it doesn't break. A wheelchair doesn't break down as much as a motorcycle.
So since we're kind of talking about those things right now, what are some of the, I don't know, what do you call them? I'm not here in the Duchenne journey yet. Adaptive aids or technological assistance. What kind of things have you found have helped you guys really kind of tap into your joy, but using technology?
I don't know. I think DJ might use a little bit of technology. No, I'm just kidding. I was totally amazed at like the eye gaze that DJ uses and how he could use it. It's really cool. It's funny. I don't know that. I don't know. Like most of what I do, my brothers are mechanics. My dad is a welder and a mechanic. So we're kind of like the baling wire and duct tape sort of people. That sometimes you have to be willing to. I had this nice wooden computer desk. You know what? I cut that thing up so I could get to it better. So you just have to be willing to not only technology, like there is computer stuff. There's things we could use. Like right now, I think DJ and I are pretty grateful for technology. It's what helps us breathe. But they are catching up with things. For instance, just gaming. They have an Xbox adaptive controller, which I don't have, but I need to get. Microsoft just announced that they're coming out with some customizable like mice and pads where you just move the parts, add things, and just make it fit you and move however you want it to. Which it's an idea I had, but I guess I won't make any money with that now.
Yeah, and I know Able Gamers, they're a great organization that help people with disabilities get set up with the system they need so they can do some online gaming. I know that they are always kind of renovating and getting something new out onto the market. I know they created a kind of like a box looking where your controller sits into it. So if you've got some limited gross motor, but still a little bit of fine motor, you can just use your fingers and not have to hold it. So that's some really neat stuff.
Yeah, it is hard for me to controller now.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, you still do it and you even stream too, Ryan. That's just the cool stuff, man. It's like,
The good thing is you don't have to be good to stream. You could just, as long as you talk, you can talk and just be mediocre.
it's being mediocre.
That's what DJ says about eye gaze.
Absolutely. Eye gaze has helped me tremendously. Before I had it, I was definitely in a bubble with myself, but I now have my connection back to the world, and nothing is not impossible for me. Oh, wait, and nothing is now impossible for me. Guys, DJ's story about the eye gaze, he able to speak or really communicate with the world for 15 years. 15 years, guys. Whenever he had the trach inserted, he was unable to talk and use his vocal cords around it. He's got his whole story in the Family, Friends, and Duchenne blog. It's amazing. But yeah, his eye gaze now, it's just letting him connect to the world. And DJ, man, an experience like that, I just, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It shows, God, how much internal strength you got to have to come out of 15 years of non-communication and still be as happy and lively a person as you are. That's fantastic. And I want to touch briefly, Ryan, again, like these ventilators legitimately keep you alive, alive. And that's something that I didn't really click in my head, and it should have, but that sort of technology is amazing. So even just down from the basic, keeping you alive, to connecting you with other humans, there's a lot of options, huh?
I want to say something too about just DJ. I hope I don't embarrass you too much, but it is an honor to get to do this with you, DJ, because I went for years where I would wear this mask in public, and it was very hard for me to talk, and I thought that was bad. But just your fortitude, your mental toughness, just I'm grateful for this, impressed by you. And also, I think the greatest thing about technology, 10, 15 years ago, DJ and I definitely couldn't be doing this right now. And, look at, like, DJ's awesome. Your sense of humor, the way you can convey things. I mean, like right now, like I give you an honorary doctorate, DJ. You're like, because,
I second that. I'll give you one too.
all right, there we go.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk. DJ brought up a great point about, material things versus non-material things and experiences. Where do y'all feel like relationships fall into that? And are relationships challenging being in a body with Duchenne?
Yeah, everything's challenging. I've always said that our brain doesn't know we're in a wheelchair. Our brain doesn't really realize that we have Duchenne. Because I don't know if you guys are the same, but do you ever forget you have Duchenne or you're in a wheelchair? Like, oh man, I want to go. Oh yeah, I'm in a wheelchair. I can't do that. So so I think that does happen, and but you can't just voluntarily go hug somebody. But if you want to, you have to actually say, "Hey, can you give me a hug?" Which I'll get you chased out of the supermarket sometimes. But okay. But so it's a little bit awkward, and we can't just go spontaneously hang out with.
Has Ryan frozen for you guys?
It looks
Frozen for
that
me.
way. Yeah.
Understanding than we are.
Ah.
Did I cut out for a minute there?
Yeah, you did. About 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Can you recap?
Yeah, I guess it'd be. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why you guys. What am I?
I think it was right about when you were looking at what Felix was saying.
Oh, about mindfulness has helped me sometimes in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying how it's awkward because we have to ask for a hug,
Mhm.
or we can't do spontaneous stuff like other people. I wrote a blog for you about touch. I'll just people normally talk to each other. They kind of touch each other without even realizing it. It's easy to not see that or to not get that, but I think when we explain to people, say, hey, like, give me a fist bump. It's okay to ask for stuff. It's 2022. You should ask, get consent. Like, do I have your consent to have you fist bump me? There you go. So now you never have to worry about fist bumping somebody without trouble. And also, let's be honest, you're not going to have stuff happen to you like what's going on with Johnny Depp right now. Nobody's
Uh-oh.
going to nobody's going to say that we're like hitting them or something. Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some Googling tonight, Ryan. Thank you.
Oh, there's just some stuff going on in trials.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Let's see. DJ replied here, relationships outside our family and friends is very tough, especially romantic relationships. I never even thought that was even possible for me, so I never really tried. I had crushes on a special young lady, but I knew that it would never be anything else. Thankfully, we are still great friends. Oh, that breaks my heart, DJ.
yeah, we've been there, DJ. I never imagined, I was the same way. I never imagined a girl could really like me in a wheelchair. So I never really tried. My hope was that, well, I get them to like me, that when I'm not in a wheelchair. So I did always have that kind of, but then as I've had different caregivers, I realized, oh man, I messed up. There really are people out there that care and could overlook that stuff. I think the first time I saw that something wait, that guy has Duchenne, he's married? How did that happen? I didn't know that was a thing. I was a little annoyed. Like, why didn't somebody tell me? So, but it is scary for anybody to, have that possibility of a relationship and then get your heart broken. I finally got far enough to get my heart broken. And the big thing was somebody thought I was just nice and they didn't really think that I was actually interested. There's a lot of mixed up information out there. So, it's never too late. It's always, you know, with in a wheelchair, maybe we just need to be a little more upfront about how you feel, or if we're going to go on a date with somebody, say, I'd like to go on a date with you. It's not exactly, just tell them a little bit more.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things for me to wrap my brain and my heart around about this disease is all of the challenges in finding a significant other, all of the challenges in even dating, even finding a person that you might be interested in who's not, always just walking around your living room. It's a big challenge. But there's such a fundamental fulfillment and having another person kind of play that role. That's just that's tough. And I personally would love to find somebody who's in a relationship and have them on to give all of us tips, because man, if I could start a Duchenne dating service, I'd be on it on a heartbeat. Maybe that's my next project.
All right,
maybe I'll do that.
I think we could probably arrange that through DJ and our organization. I think we could actually find somebody that's in a relationship. Or there's going to be a conference in Scottsdale. I think there's going to be a section where they talk about that. And also, to anybody watching this later, I said something about you want to be upfront with people. Don't lead off with, "Hey, I want to marry you. Can we go on a date?" That's never advisable. With us,
Right.
you got to take a little bit more time, and got to make sure they fall in love with us first.
Ryan, I think frankly, that's good advice for anybody to take. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, you got to give them time to figure it out.
Yeah. Before I go, well, no, I'll read what DJ says here. And DJ says that need is definitely there for us, just like anybody else, for a soulmate. And God, you know what, guys, that's just, I hear that in so many different ways from y'all. We're just like anybody else. We're just like anybody else. We have all of the same needs. We need to communicate. We want to feel loved. We want to be touched. DJ says, if they just talk with me, I'm golden. I mean, there's just so much with our society that's fear-based and, based on just how people look and ignorance. You know what, Ryan? Tell me about your third grade teacher. What happened when you met her at Walmart or something that you mentioned in the Touch article?
Was that the teacher I didn't like for years? Or
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag.
or wait.
She was afraid to hug you or touch you, and she broke your wheelchair.
Oh, yeah. She basically just like gave me a big hug, and then she turned my chair off. And she started to leave, like, wait. And I had to be by myself at Walmart. My mom somewhere else, like, hold on a second. Most people, you don't have to say, like most women, guys, you get in trouble, you say, hold on, you got to come back and turn me on. Be careful how you phrase that.
Do you just write these all down or just collect them somewhere, Ryan? All of
I
these
really should.
wonderful one-liners. They're fantastic.
Well, when I was at my junior college, they called me the king of pickup lines. Didn't do me much good, but I actually helped a lot of. Actually, it was funny. I'd go on a date with a girl, or like they had these dances where girls asked guys. Like the next day, some guy had asked them her to marry them. I was like, "What the heck is this?" That's kind of annoying a little bit, but to what DJ said about soulmates,
Yeah,
I believe we don't have just like a one soulmate. If there are soulmates, like I have somebody. She was an acquaintance before, and she started being a caregiver, and we just immediately hit it off. It was like we've been friends forever, and she's somebody that really helped me to change and start advocating more for myself. And it's good to have friendships. Build friendships. She and I definitely consider each other soulmates. Of course, she also considers her husband a soulmate. So there's always people out there we can connect with. And, yeah, and DJ, I'm glad. It's one thing I like. DJ and his mom were best friends. My mom and I were best friends. So we need best friends. It's always nice.
So, I mean, I'm just going to ask the obvious question here. If you can't really get out of the house much, where do you even start to try to put yourself out there?
Well, it was a lot easier when I was going to that junior college.
Yeah.
When I went there. There's online dating, but it's got its own trials and troubles, hard stuff. But because people are looking at the picture. I've seen some people that they try to put a picture on there where you can't tell they're disabled, and they don't even mention their disability. Well, that's catfishing. I want somebody to tell me what what's going on, what they're all about. So I started saying that on the big thing I put is, I'm not looking for a caregiver. I'm looking for somebody to date or somebody to meet. And you also, don't shut yourself off. If you go out to Walmart, you never know what might happen.
To you or your chair. You just don't know.
You might meet somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
For real?
I will tell you about my time checking out farmers.com. It's not nice.
Hold on. Is there a joke that I'm missing here?
No,
DJ
like,
said I.
what is it? You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com. It's
Very
a
nice.
dating thing, but
Okay. Got it. Got it.
I'm just gonna say, yeah.
Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. If somebody knew nothing about Duchenne, but I don't know, they saw you somewhere, or I don't know the scenario, but would you be offended if somebody asked you, I don't even know how you would ask it, you know, what's your mask for? Or, you know, if they were like sincerely interested in kind of learning about what was going on, how would you respond, or what would be a good way for somebody to approach that?
You know, I think that's a better option to them visibly trying not to look at you or trying not to stare. But you know, because when somebody you look at her, you know, I was looking over, and you can tell her it's like, just come ask me a question. That's what I love about little kids. Little kids aren't afraid to ask. They're going to ask, "What's that? What's that? Why's your breath smell bad?" And it's like, oh, what? Oh, they're like, I don't know if I can answer that. I don't brush my teeth. See what happens? Oh, that would be great. Say, see what happens when you don't brush your teeth? There you go. Parents will.
Let's see. DJ says, it wouldn't bother me at all. I would say, of course, I will share. If kids want to ask, please allow them to. I mean, isn't that the truth? I think I shared this story last time. I'm going to share it again just because it's so indicative of who DJ is as a person. So DJ and Ryan and I, we're in a, Ryan sometimes shows up. We're in another group on Tuesday nights. Everybody's welcome. It's the Duchenne Awareness Support Group. And my son has seen DJ on, you know, the screen sometimes while I'm chatting, and he's asked me, does he always have that? You know, how come he's not talking? And, you know, I explained to him. And then I asked DJ, I said, DJ, if my son ever wants to talk to you and ask you questions, is that okay? And DJ's like, yeah, sure, please, that's fine. I mean, it's just who we are underneath all of the physical stuff is just, it can just be such a beautiful gift to the world if only we can get past, you know, some of the things that scare us. And maybe it is, maybe it's fear, maybe it's ignorance, maybe afraid of offending. I just wanted to try to give some tools to the wider community if they wanted to start breaking through those barriers that, you know, they've got for themselves.
It depends on where you're at. There was a time I didn't like answering questions. Although little kids are always, you know, adults that ask questions, or maybe it's more my high school people.
Yeah.
But what I try to do, and this is maybe more because of the situation we're in, is I just tell people, you know, imagine a world where there's no physical disability, there's no race, there's no height differences, we're all the same size, and you just judge people by what's in their heart. You know, could you imagine what a different world that would be? And if people can do that and think of that when they see everybody, you know, judge them by, I think Dr. Martin Luther King talks about that, you know, judging people by basically what's on the inside, of the color of their skin. So I think we're getting there where people, you know, don't judge us by what you see on a wheelchair on the outside. And with Duchenne, just like every other human being, you know, we're all different as human beings. And our Duchenne is different. There's no two people that have the same exact Duchenne or the same anything. It affects us all differently. So I think, you know, we're normal people.
Well, some of us are, Ryan.
Well,
Some
we
of
didn't
us.
want to say to make you feel bad. Linda, you're not normal. You're special.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
What was that, DJ? Can you understand us? People really do that to you, DJ?
And to let the rest of y'all in on the joke, DJ put here in the chat, please don't assume I'm deaf and holler at me when you're talking. Please don't just yell.
I've been wasting all my energy trying to move my hands in sign language. Like I can't move my arm, but I'm trying to do all that for nothing. I've been kicking myself because I couldn't do sign language with DJ.
And DJ did say a perfect world for sure, Ryan, if everybody could see past or through, or could just recognize who you are at the core.
Forget political parties too. People can just drop all this stuff. Just have normal, decent conversations. People have kind of lost the art of conversation and debate. You see the news is all yelling. Well, you don't have to yell with us because DJ can hear you. Just talk to us like normal, and as long as you say, "Hey, what's that thing you're wearing?" I'm great answering that. Just somebody says, "Man, you look stupid. What's that thing on your face?" I'm not gonna, I'll probably come back with something equally. So I don't know, what's that thing on your face? It said there's nothing on my face. Like, well, it's ugly, whatever. But I wouldn't do that, but still. Yeah, as long as people are all civil.
Just be sure that Ryan's had his nap if you talk to him. That's all I have to say.
You know what we'd be good at? Like peaceful protests like Mahatma Gandhi. And we could definitely do sit-ins.
Ching.
Sorry, I'm not here all night.
I just want to say briefly, hop up on my little soapbox and then move on to some more important things. My son's just 11. He's just 11 years old in this journey. And I've been learning more and more about the challenges that our adults with Duchenne face. And, it's just incredible when you mention the discrimination and that sort of thing, Ryan. And my sister-in-law is a special needs attorney. So she and I talk legal stuff, for fun sometimes. But it's incredible because there's still legal discriminations out there. So like as an adult, if you find somebody, if you have Duchenne, you find somebody, you decide you want to get married, yada, yada, yada. It's possible for you to lose your health insurance.
It's possible. It's like more than likely.
There you go. It is. It's rather likely. Even if you decide you want to, live with somebody, the government can then decide that you can start counting their income for supporting you and boot you off. And, legit guys.
Married?
Yeah. Even if you're just living together. Yep. And legitimately, over the course of a lifetime, it can be $1 million in medical bills. And so, y'all got these crazy decisions. That's like, this isn't fair. This is discrimination. I don't understand this. And along those lines, even just your income. I mean, y'all are limited at what you can earn. And, limited in deciding if you want to take a promotion. Limited in deciding, just moving up the ladder. There's just so many things with that.
I could be qualified for, but it used to be, well, I can't do that. I'll make too much money. And it looks weird when you put, okay, I'll work for you, but I can only make this much. There are things like Leona's told me about Miller trusts.
Yeah.
Council, they're helping, but we're getting there, I think. But the biggest problem is they just lump all disabilities into the same category.
Oh, by the way, guys, in terms of injustices, keep your eyes open tonight when I post DJ's latest article. I'll probably post at midnight or 1 about the challenges with medical equipment. That's a fun little teaser. But I want to jump back. So back to either having a vocation or an avocation or, a purpose, as Ryan's mentioned before. let's switch gears and start chatting about that. And if that's hard to do, if that's,
It's funny. I have a funny story about that. I have this one friend that really thinks everybody's supposed to do what he, wants you to listen to him and do what he says. And he had a good idea. He told me that, like from day one, he said, well, you need to get into web design. You need to get into graphic stuff that you can do from home, or sound engineering. You can work on a movie and make, a bunch of money just from sitting at your house. He has actually been mad at me all these years. I've been going to school and trying to do different things. It wasn't until I got my PhD that, a few months later, like, oh, life coaching. I like this. So that's the big thing. Don't feel bad if you haven't found what you want to do right away. Give time, and eventually, if you keep working towards something, you can find something you can do. And my friend is still mad at me that, because I'm trying to do all these things. Well, if you just listen to me and done graphic design, but I told him I don't want to do that stuff. So that's why I didn't do it. And meanwhile, well, never mind, we won't talk about him in case he watches or something. But he is great at computers, but he never pursued anything with computers. So he has a job that's not computers.
I've started to suspect, I'm just going to say this, then I'll read what DJ has to say. I've started to suspect that individuals with Duchenne might have to bear a lot of the other people imposing their will on you kind of theme. And you've got to just really stand strong as much as you can. But maybe we can tap into that in a second. DJ says, you must factor that into every aspect of our lives. I could work, but if I did, I wouldn't have the help I require just to live. So bettering ourselves is not possible. And I thought that's the American dream. I guess that only applies to the non-disabled.
Yeah, we basically have to make enough to support ourselves, pay for caregiving, pay for everything. And I mean, Lindy, that's something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to that part where it's not as easy as you might think. But when I get there, I do want to start a nonprofit that focuses on helping other people get there too.
I love that. I love that. And it seems like, maybe it doesn't seem, maybe it is, that the odds are just stacked against y'all because, if you've got to stay under this income level to still have access to medical care and, to have machinery that'll help you stay alive. And then, if you have to have this much in order to pay for it all out of pocket, well, there's this big gray area that you just kind of have to jump over. So how do you get an inflow of income, this big to be able to leave Medicaid and then be able to pay for private insurance and your housing and your care? It's just, lottery, that we keep coming back to the lottery theme. That's going to solve a lot of things for me.
Tribe Publishers Clearinghouse, $7,000 a week for life. Hasn't worked out yet. Another interesting thing is so many people don't understand what kind of stuff we have to go through, the requirements, the things we have to ramp our wheelchairs over, that hoops we have to ramp. You don't jump through hoops, you ramp wheelchairs through them. But okay, it wasn't that good. All right.
Well, I got
that
it.
same friend has always given me a hard time because I don't have a job, because I don't work. And like one time he called me a mooch on my parents. That said mooch off my parents. And I'm like, okay, I've gotten over that one yet. But we're here trying. Maybe it'd be nice if they would look at our abilities, our maybe start making things where they give you a percentage, or
And I love that, Ryan, because it's another example of just breaking through these fabricated structures that society has made that we all think we have to follow. If somebody's not giving you a paycheck, then you're not working. But oh my goodness, I know you, I think pretty well, Ryan, and you work hard and you hustle and you're thinking and you are trying. And I feel like it kind of puts you guys in a place where y'all got to be entrepreneurs to an extent, very creative thinkers, because you're not allowed to play by society's rules.
Yeah, we do it in a way. I'm going to write an article for Brains Magazine pretty soon about how if everybody would adopt the mindset that you have to have for a disability, they'd be more productive. If you think, okay, I've got to work around the box or outside the box, if they would think that way, they'd be better off. America, it's pretty easy here in America. For any first world country, life is really not that hard compared to a third world country or even the 40s, World War II time. And in a way, those of us with disabilities and other people too, but we know what it is to struggle still, to have hardships to go without. That was a big thing about the World War II generation, is they learned how to do without, that not everything was easy. And for us, it's definitely, so there I go again, finding positives from.
Yeah. It's the more I uncover things, the more astounded I am. DJ said here, even if people want to help with things, the government consider gifts as income as well. So we have to keep things that are given to us hidden, or they'll come after and they'll get it. And that's true. That's all about the Medicaid waiver programs. If an individual has more than $2,000 in assets to their name, you're not going to be eligible for Medicaid.
Yeah, so DJ, you got to keep that moonshine business on the down low, okay? I don't report any of the money I get from stripping. So you got to know what you got to report and don't report.
Or you could just get a special needs trust.
Oh, good, because I haven't actually made anything from stripping yet.
Oh, really, Felix? Maybe 3? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an email this morning about advocating for it.
Okay. Well, somebody said that the $2,000 asset limit was set in 1989. Did I look? That'd be about 40. If they would, go by at least what that $2,000 would be worth today. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that was the exact argument, actually.
Okay. Was it Alan? I know there's a guy advocate talked about.
I'm gonna have to find it. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, there's a Facebook group discussion. They're talking about that one day. Somebody posted.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to be the negative Nelly and say, but how does that really help empower y'all to get a job or, accept promotions or really start to engage in an adult life in a meaningful way if you want to? Well, in that meaningful way, there's lots of meaningful ways. So yes, progress is progress.
There is a right to work program now, or what? Anyway, you have a year where you can make as much money as you want. Then after that year, you can decide, do I stick with it or not? Maybe it's part of the ticket to working. But so that's the big thing is, start working down here. It's hard to do that, keep it kind of, so I'm hoping to do that. I have a year where I can work And that's what I'm going to really try to open the gates and just go get my 30,000 a month goal. That's the goal I have, to make $30,000 a month.
You can do it, Ryan.
Yeah.
I have faith.
My cat's goal here is just to lick his arm. But if he can reach his goal, I can reach mine.
DJ, I'd love to hear you talk about how you found meaning yourself in advocating. And I'll let you say it. I want to read your words because your words are so much better than mine.
Let's see, you can't give me his moonshine recipe. It's
sorry, say again. Oh, Felix is cracking up.
Recipe. You know, West Virginia, that's what everybody does, right? They say it's almost like heaven. It's almost heaven, right?
I am going to have to wrap this up soon. My kids are starting to melt down, but I want to bring up another point and then kind of wrap up after I read what DJ has to say. But going back to human touch, Ryan, what you were talking about, and I don't know if I've gotten that up on the website or not. I don't think I have quite yet. I was editing it yesterday. So Ryan's written a great article. It's up on the Facebook page. It's called Human Touch. Is it called Human Touch? Anyway, I'll be posting it to the website soon. It's a great
so it's
article.
on the blog, but not the
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But you know, it talks about you know, how much our nervous systems can be soothed by another human. And you know, just imagine if you had to ask every time you wanted to be touched. I mean, just a skin, a hug, a hand on your shoulder. There's got to be a certain level of underlying stress associated with that, just from a nervous system standpoint. And then putting the burden of, again, on you guys to seek and to ask and to advocate, you know, hey, I need this, even just for a simple human touch. It's just, it just floors me how much further this goes than just a power chair.
Yeah, you know, some caregivers get it, some don't. I've had some right. Why do you want, like, you're weird. I mean, I'm weird anyway, but then there's others that get it. But you know, some people, I seem to get the caregivers that aren't into hug, and I'm like, it's not everybody hug nowadays. But you know, it's really nice. I've never had a massage. You have to pay. Well, that's you know, careful how I phrase that. So I have a friend's massage therapist professionally, and I paid them for a massage. You know what? That was really nice. So you know, that is one way to get touch, but like a massage, you know, they understand it. I think that we need touch.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much that we take for granted that you guys just go without. No. DJ said, advocating to me has allowed me to get to know many wonderful people, and it gives me the opportunity to help many others who are in my position of no connection to the outside world find their reconnection to the world. And that means a lot, even if I only help one person. Oh man. You know, it's incredible. If you let it, the experience of Duchenne will just, you know, kind of cut to the core of what's really important. And that's incredible. And again, this comes from a guy who couldn't communicate for 15 years. 15 years. It's amazing. Okay, I just want to leave on one final note. Oh, don't go yet, don't go yet, Felix. I decided to extend by 5 more minutes because I thought of something that's really important. Oh, great. A preemptive thank you from Felix here, guys. I just want to mention briefly, maybe we'll go into this on a larger scale another time, but let's just talk frankly about mental health and about meds if we need it. I know a lot of our adults with Duchenne, well, even our kids, my son started on SSRIs when he was 7 or 8 years old for anxiety. And from what I understand, it's just a common typical thing that's associated with Duchenne and the way it physiologically affects the brain. So, I want to put that out there and really talk about it because I think that's an avenue that can really help improve quality of life if people know that it exists. So just if y'all are comfortable saying something about that, I know a lot of parents are surprised. I see this a lot in the DMD moms chatting. I just want to put it out there. This is typical, guys. And it's also typical for parents to be on antidepressants as well. It happens. It's common.
Well, first, you said you must to speak frankly.
Please.
How did you know I had an identity named Frank? I mean, do you want Frank to come talk to you right now, or?
Please.
Okay, no, be quiet, Frank. He's not. He's too Frank, so I'll take over. First, I would say I'm a big proponent of like counseling, therapy, ways to definitely, mainly, medications can't be the only treatment you're doing. It takes things you have to do. There's a lot of things. Part of the reason I think I went after psychology was I discovered after high school, I went to college, I prepare everything in advance. I'd already gone 1 year, like a year a semester. And I'd always go like a couple of days before school started, check out the campus, make sure I knew where my classes were going to be. They had this brand new building that they made. And I got there, well, the handicap buttons were my head level. And I couldn't reach my arm up to hit them. And all of a sudden, about that time, I started itching, like over my head, my chest, my back. This sort of hives. And anytime anything surprised me or I wasn't prepared for, and it was anxiety. I didn't really understand what it was, but it's because I had what I expected, thought about my head, got there. Oh, this isn't. But I eventually learned you have to have multiple plans. I don't say expect the worst, hope for the best, and be prepared for anything. It may be better than what you expect, or it may be worse.
And that just occurred to me while you were chatting, Ryan. I guess there probably aren't a whole lot of backup plans if things don't go the way you expect them to. Just either from accessibility or inclusion, being in a power chair and having a respirator, or all of the other equipment that you guys carry with y'all. There's just not a lot of room for flexibility. So that would make sense that anxiety would go up a touch if things aren't how you were told they were going to be.
Yeah, at that time I was a lot more able than I am now. I didn't have something to help me breathe, but I had to call the counselors. They had to have somebody standing at the door when I got there to let me in. Then they had to have somebody, then they had to help me up the elevator to my class. And eventually I met somebody in my class that helped me. But, that's just, it's like, I'm not independent. I'm not an adult. But you realize that's not the stuff that makes you an adult. Adult thing is what's inside you. And it really, anything, adults ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. So I won't ask DJ to help me move, but that's because he lives on the other side of the country.
DJ says here, I agree. Find what works for you. It may take a few attempts, but you will find it. If medication is the elixir, then great. Don't think it makes you any different than someone who found therapy as their elixir. Very good. And DJ shares, I do have really bad anxiety and OCD, but I'm not ashamed to share that with anyone. And I love that. That's more of the stuff I feel like we really need to talk about in our community, because I think there's so many individuals who carry that burden. And it's just, from what I understand, it's just a part of the community. It's just a part of the culture. And if we start talking about it, then maybe we can make it a little bit easier for everybody.
Yeah, it's good to remember we can't see what other people, what's going on inside. You know, it's easy to look at the wheelchair and think, oh, they're in a wheelchair, but it's easy to forget we're normal people. And I think kind of the OCD, you know, I like to say it might not be completely OCD, but you know, when you're in a wheelchair, you have to explain to everybody what you want. And you know, you have to have things just so it's easy to, we kind of all have OCD in a way, but not to like diminish what you're like, you know, DJ, but so you know, I think it's okay to have OCD. I have a brother that always gets after me for being so picky. And he's like, you know, ask my caregiver, hey, can you do this? And after they do it, I say, thank you. And he's like, you could say, please. And, you know, the caregiver say, if you did that, we'd be here all day. You know, it's like, they're like, no, we don't want to, like, we don't need to hear please everything. Because that is hard. You have to ask constantly.
Yeah. And I imagine you become trained to be very specific, because I'm sure there have been plenty of misunderstandings and miscommunication in your life that you just learn.
So great to get a caregiver, get somebody that you don't have to explain everything.
Yeah.
Best friend I have, and my caregiver that lives here now, it's so nice to know when they're here, they'll kind of do whatever I need without me even asking. Which is bad when I get somebody that's new, or they're like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell them I need that. Or where is that anyway?
Let's see. DJ says, I agree. I have to have so much stuff with me at all times. And if I forget one thing, I'm screwed. So double and triple checking happens. Just what you've learned. And also, you know, even just on, you know, there it's so interesting because Dr. Natalie Truba, and I promise we're wrapping up after this, neuropsychologist at Nationwide Children's Hospital, she talks about just the brain chemistry, the way dystrophin affects the brain, how there's a higher prevalence of things like OCD, but not OCD, anxiety, but not full anxiety, and, you know, autism, but not quite autism. So there's this very special Duchenne-induced category of some, I don't want to call it mood disorders, mental health diagnoses, something like that.
Environmentally induced stuff, kind of.
Say again.
It's basically based in a way, kind of like our environment, but our internal environment. Just
exactly
we're forced to live, yeah.
And then toss on top of that, you know, the typical life experiences that y'all experience living, you know, in the chair. Well, that was heavy tonight, guys.
Yes, if you said we're done, I won't talk anymore. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Y'all know I could just keep on going for hours. It's true. A little yes. DJ agrees. A little yes. Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then we accidentally bark at somebody, maybe. You know, I like to be ready for something 30 minutes early, and I had somebody who's working for me that was constantly late. So I was going out of town, and like 5 minutes after my time, I was a little short. I mean, I was short anyway, but I was a little short temper-wise too.
And on that note,
take it away.
So a reminder, guys, to Felix. Hopefully they'll get to the end of the recording and catch this part. There's no charge for these webinars, but both of our wonderful guys here are fundraising for their own accessible vans. If you'd like to, feel free to donate to DJ's fundraiser through the jet. And once we get DJ squared away, then we can start working on Ryan. If you've got some
Hey,
extra, do a little bit of both.
Bill Gates, if you're watching this, we only use Windows. So if you want to donate.
And DJ, of course, always being the professional one, has said, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. DJ keeps us in line.
What DJ said.
All right, guys. Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with us. And we'll see you next time.
I'm waving inside.
Good night.
Right.